Springfield 1-1, focus, bra, 295, 450, at 25,000, hot. Springfield 1-1, focus, bra, 295, 450. Springfield 1-1, focus, bra, 296, 450, 25,000, flanking.
Okay, so here's a Tacview. Bear with me if you can. I have limited experience with Tacview, but I wanted to add a Tacview to this just for fun, in case anybody's interested in seeing it. I know I like to see it. They basically have me in the F-15C versus two Su33s. Trying to use some of the elements that I've learned to be effective here. So pretty much from the beginning, I wanted to start cranking to the left. The idea when cranking to the left, for anyone who does not know, is to basically begin to make it a little bit more difficult for the missiles that will be fired to reach me, because it will end up scrubbing some of the energy off of the missiles at this range. If you're cranking to in one direction away, missiles are going to have to try to target you well off to the side there, and turn in a way that's going to make them less effective. Just go to the satellite here. So I'm cranking to the left. I kind of figured that they would fire off some of those missiles a little bit sooner, but he's waiting. And the guy on the top initially started trying to flank maybe, or crank me, but maybe he realized that I'm cranking to the left, and that may not be such a good idea. I'm not sure. But so here I am. We're moving off to the left, and nobody's fired yet, but he's about to. The lead Su33 is about to fire, and I don't think I got any notification right away. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back to the video, but I definitely did not get a notification yet. And so here's the missile, and you can see the path of the missile. It didn't have to turn too much, and I got to the point where I was ready to turn back in, because I wanted to really get both of these guys right away, which I did not end up doing. But you can see here, and I fired, and the range that I fired at was pretty close to a good range for the AMRAAM. I think it was at around 23 miles or so, and that's 23 miles at this altitude. It's a pretty dangerous missile. And I did fire another one, I believe here, and then I went defensive immediately. And his missile, I think, at that range where it was initially fired at, it just, by this time, just did not really have enough energy remaining in order to be effective. So this missile was pretty easy to avoid. On the other hand, my AMRAAM is still pretty hot. It's still pretty, it's got quite a bit of energy still, and he didn't really get that defensive yet. He just started to go defensive. And so he's hit, boom, and hit again. Meanwhile, let's see here, I am still concerned about all these other missiles in the air. There's still one missile that he fired, I think he fired, or let's see, no, that was the other SU, I guess. Still two missiles in the air. Actually, these are three, but the first one's out of energy. So I just want to make sure I don't get killed before I have a chance to fire off at the other SU. But this missile here had to turn a couple of times, and once these missiles, they only burn for a short period of time, and once they make a couple of turns, they're pretty much useless. So if you can get their missiles to turn a couple of times, they're going to be pretty ineffective. Chances are really good that you're not going to get blown up. And so here I'm trying to come around and get offensive on this other guy as quickly as possible, because at this point he's at about we're getting close to 10 miles away. I really don't want to get any closer than that. But this missile here looks like it, you know, is still pretty dangerous, but the speed is really low. So it's just not, you know, unless I fly into it at full speed, it's probably not going to be able to do very much. And I really just want to fire at this guy. I want to kill this guy. So I go back, I turn into him again, and I was probably a little bit too relaxed about it. But if this was a human pilot, I probably would not have been so relaxed about it. But lately, I just haven't been terribly afraid of the AI. In any event, I did get into a good position here, inverted to fire, but I'm taking my time and fire the missile, which at this point is I believe right around 10 miles or less, and that's going to be a one deadly AMRAAM, while his missile is probably just about now running out of fuel. And for some reason, I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on this, because I'm still fairly new to DCS, but this missile, just looking at it here, I would have thought that it could get me, but for whatever reason this maneuver worked. I could have probably pulled a few more G's. I think I only pulled about 6. I could have pulled more than that, and also fired a little bit faster. But in any case, I fired, and I'm inverted. I'm about to try to maintain as much energy as possible and make that turn down to go defensive. And just this missile, this R-73, just could not. It just couldn't, and I don't even have any countermeasures off yet, do I? I don't think. Maybe one right there. Is that starting to? And so yeah, just one countermeasure. Just finally got off a countermeasure, but this missile just cannot. It just can't quite make that turn to get me. And it's interesting, just can't quite make that turn. It's not fast enough, I guess. It just wasn't it just didn't quite have enough energy, I guess, to just to do that maneuver and follow me down. But certainly wouldn't recommend getting that close if you can avoid it. And meanwhile, my missile is actually really still has a lot of energy left, and this guy just has absolutely no chance of evading it. Just starts to turn and he's dead. So it's interesting. It decided to turn back into me here. Of course, by now that missile decided to turn back in, but it's way too late. So anyway, that's the Tacview. I hope maybe somebody got something out of this, although it could have been a lot more by the book. I thought it was kind of an interesting engagement, and hope you liked it. Thanks. I'll see you next time.